Welcome to the League of Legends patch preview. In this video, we'll go over some of the major gameplay changes coming into the next patch for League of Legends. We're making a change to Katarina that should be really interesting to our dedicated player base. We're letting you appear behind or in front of your Shunpo target based on whether or not you use Killer Instincts first. Why are we making this change?
The change to Shunpo is really about enhancing player choice with its use with Killer Instincts. Katarina's position now changing with if you use Killer Instincts or not is another thing for Katarina players to plan out and think about each time they use the skill. For example, in the lane case, you may really not want to get behind the target because there's minion aggro, or the run back to your tower after the harass may be too long. In these cases, you would choose to not use Killer Instincts and get in and out quicker. The teamfight case, however, you might choose to do something like use Killer Instincts, get in behind those fighters where you're in the middle of the team, then use a really big death lotus to hit everybody. We want Katarina players to really be thinking about this choice and give them kind of a new option to differentiate good Katarina players from great Katarina players.
We're making some tweaks to a lot of our ranged carries. Caitlyn, Graves, and Kog'Maw are getting a little bit nerfed, while Corki, Misfortune, and Tristana are getting buffed a little bit. Why are we hitting these champions?
What we've seen is we have a couple of these guys who are just outclassing other range carries and the kind of harassment and range departments especially. We wanted to even that out by bringing them down just ever so slightly and then bring up a couple of the more underplayed carries in the same way. These changes are very conservative generally for a couple of reasons. One, the lane is a very sensitive balance. We don't want to go too crazy in either direction. We still want to see all of these carries we see now. We just want to see more options for players to use. The other thing is this is a tournament patch. We tend to be a little bit more conservative with changes on the tournament patch because we don't want to blindside our competitive players. We don't expect to see these old range carries that people are using now fall out of favor at all, but we are expecting to see maybe you'll throw in another weird option. We think that choice is really important to creating kind of exciting team comps and your identity as a character and who you like to play.
We're nerfing the ability power ratio on Sion's Cryptic Gaze and Death's Caress by 0.1. Why are we doing this?
Sion's kind of a brick in the lane generally to start with, getting really good farm, really good harass, really good bully on the enemy solo in that process. What this ends up translating to is not only does he bully you in lane, but because of his high AP ratio, that carries over into a high late game burst. You can't stop him from farming, so he will eventually hit the point of being able to come in and start bursting your team down. We wanted to lower that AP ratio so the reward for that kind of strength he has in lane is a little lower and a little less guaranteed obvious strength in the late game.
Sona's Aria of Perseverance is now getting a scaling mana cost with level, and the armor magic resist aura is going down a little bit. Why are we nerfing her?
Sona still stands out as the very best support because she has great harass and she also has really good free defenses on her heal. This is kind of compounding into a position where it's hard to attack and pressure a lane with Sona in it, but it's also hard to actually get any damage that stays and is meaningful or burst people down because of that extra defense. I want to bring those things down a little bit. Sona's always going to be a harasser, she's always going to be a healer. These things aren't going to change about her and we're going to continue to support that play, but right now she's doing it so effectively, other support options are being kind of elbowed out by her.
We're changing up our summoner spells a little bit. Almost all of them are getting buffed or nerfed in some way, and we're going to see some new ones. Why are we doing this?
I wanted to specifically talk about Clairvoyance in the new summoner spells because that change is the one that I think bears a little explanation. Clairvoyance right now has a 8-second duration, has a pretty short cooldown by the time you get all the boosts for the cooldown reduction on it. What this means is people are using Clairvoyance extremely often, and what that's starting to create is a situation where you're seeing portions of the enemy team a little too often. What this is creating is lack of availability on jungle ganks or lack of missing lane ganks and other things that can create kind of that early to mid game action in lane that's really exciting to play and really exciting to watch. By doing this to Clairvoyance, we still think it's going to be great at these numbers. Our prediction is that supports will still be taking Clairvoyance in a lot of cases. In addition, we've made a couple other attractive options for support characters, namely Summoner Promote and Summoner Heal. We've buffed Heal substantially, so you could actually use that in your lane, and specifically on a non-sustainer like a bottom lane tank or something like a Janna who could help use this in clutch situations to save their teammates. The other thing is Promote can really help your team push down a tower, especially after a big kill or a big moment. So we think these are going to be really attractive support options as well, while Clairvoyance continues to be viable.
In addition to summoner spells, we have 3 fully revamped mastery trees as well. What are our goals behind these new masteries?
The thing we really wanted to promote here was more player choice within your mastery builds. So for example, casters now get more benefit out of going full offense, or there might be a reason for a support to go full defense. The mastery balance was really important to us. We kept a really tight eye on where the power level of the masteries was to make sure we didn't create any crazy new situations that were overpowered or things that are going to mess up the game completely. But what you're going to see is that greater range of player choice, greater range of character customization for how you like to play your favorite characters.
Thanks for tuning in to the League of Legends patch preview. Please subscribe to the Riot Games YouTube channel above, and don't forget to thumbs us up just below the video.